Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a new vehicle that's asking a pretty bold question. Why should you have to pay a massive premium for an SUV when maybe, just maybe, you don't have to anymore? For a lot of car buyers in Pakistan, this has become the new reality. It wasn't that long ago that jumping from a sedan to an SUV felt like a manageable step up. But lately, as prices have climbed, a huge gap opened up again, pushing that dream of a bigger car and a higher ride just out of reach for many. Well, that's exactly the gap the Jaecoo J5 is trying to fill. It's a brand new super hybrid SUV that's really looking to shake things up. And today, we're going to break it all down based on a fantastic first look from the team over at packwheels.com. So the very first thing you're going to notice about the J5 is its design, and that's totally on purpose. It's borrowing some serious style cues from cars in a completely different and much, much higher price bracket. When you put all these pieces together, the effect is pretty striking. The source highlights a strong resemblance to the Range Rover Evoque, and you can really see it with that big, bold waterfall grille and those sleek LED lights. It all adds up to a premium, kind of bulky look that actually makes the J5 seem bigger than other compact SUVs it competes with. All right, so the outside looks the part, but what about the inside? Does that premium feel carry over? Let's step into the cabin, because this is where the J5 really tries to impress. Okay, you can't miss it. The absolute centerpiece of this cabin is a massive 13.2-inch infotainment screen, and it's way more than just a pretty display. The source calls it the brain of the car, which is spot on, since it's the main control hub for pretty much all the car's settings and features. And just look at the list of features they've managed to pack in here. On the premium model, you get this really stylish two-tone interior with soft-touch materials and even some carbon fiber-style finishes. Then you add things like ventilated seats, a super-fast 50-watt wireless charger, and that big glass roof, and suddenly you've got a high-tech space that feels anything but basic. But it's not just about comfort and cool finishes. The J5 is making a huge statement on safety and convenience by packing in over 15 advanced driver assistance systems. So what is ADAS really? Well, think of it like a smart co-pilot. It's a whole collection of technologies that are always watching the road around you, designed to help prevent accidents and just make driving a little less stressful. And wow, the list of what's included is pretty long. You get the essentials like adaptive cruise control for the highway and lane departure prevention to keep you in your lane. But maybe the coolest bit of tech here is the 540-degree camera. It has this clear chassis view that literally lets you see the ground right under your car. I mean, how helpful is that for tricky parking spots? All right, now for what's under the hood. The J5 isn't just about looking good and having cool tech. It's all built around what Jaecoo calls its super hybrid system. The whole idea here is balance. You get a 1.5-liter turbo engine paired with that hybrid system, giving you a really healthy 221 horsepower. But the real headline here is the claimed fuel economy. Jaecoo is saying it can get over 18 kilometers per liter, with a possible range of 950 kilometers on just one tank of fuel. To put that in perspective, that's the kind of efficiency you'd expect from a sedan, not an SUV. And to help you manage all that, you get 3 different driving modes. So when you switch it into sport mode, for example, it doesn't just make the car feel quicker, it actually changes the whole theme of your digital dashboard to match, which is a really cool touch. Okay, so we've got the premium design, a cabin that's packed with features, and a super efficient hybrid system. All of this is leading up to the most important question of all. What on earth does this thing cost? And look, this is probably the #1 question on every potential buyer's mind, right? When a new brand shows up, especially one that's this aggressive with its features and pricing, you've got to wonder about long-term reliability and what happens when you need service. It's a totally fair concern. Well, it seems Jaecoo was expecting that question. The brand is being brought to Pakistan by the Nishat Group, which is a huge, established name in the country's auto industry. As the source points out, knowing who is backing the car is absolutely critical. And with Nishat quickly building out its service network, the goal is to build that long-term trust right from the start. Throughout the review, Packwheels keeps calling the Jaecoo J5 Pakistan's most affordable hybrid SUV. So, all right, let's finally get to the bottom line and put some real numbers behind that claim. Here's the breakdown. The base comfort model comes in with a reported price that's incredibly competitive. Then, even the fully loaded premium version with all the bells and whistles is priced to make you think twice. At this level, the J5 isn't just competing with other SUVs. Nope, it's aiming squarely at the top-end sedan market, making that switch to an SUV a real financial option again.
Okay, so let's boil all of this down. What's the core idea here? What really makes the Jaecoo J5 a potential market disruptor?
It really comes down to a simple but powerful formula, doesn't it? You get the style, space, and high driving position of an SUV, the low running costs you'd hope for from an efficient hybrid sedan, all wrapped up in a price tag that challenges the whole market.
And really, the final verdict from Pock Wheels sums it up perfectly. They see this car as the ideal opportunity, a perfect first step for sedan owners who've been wanting to make that jump to an SUV, but without having to break the bank on the price or the fuel.
The Jaecoo J5 really makes you wonder, is this the end of having to choose? The end of compromising? It's throwing down a serious challenge to the entire industry, and it leaves us with one big question. Who's going to be the next one to answer it?